Today I want to go over a specific trade that you can take right now, especially in today's bear market. Now, if it's a bull market, it still pops up, but it does not pop up as often, but it still works in a bull market. But the reason I want to go over it today is because I took a loss on it initially, and then I jumped back in when it reset up and ended up making back the loss and some and having a really good trade that I want you to see, because we don't always win. Sometimes we take losses. Sometimes we time it wrong. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad trader. That doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It's going to happen to every single one of us. I interview tons of traders every Monday and Wednesday like clockwork. So if you're interested in learning from traders who are way better than me, who I've interviewed on my show, make sure you hit the subscribe button and share the show with another friend. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this trade. So the stock we're going to be focusing on today is Roblox. Now, I wanted you to see right now why I drew this key level. It's because if you hold it up, move it up a little bit, you'll see that it held support, and it's the lowest it's ever been in the history of the stock. It hit this low, bounced, and came back and broke below it. So that's a key level of support that now should, doesn't mean it's going to, but it should act as resistance. That's the hope. And that's what I'm going to be thinking as I'm developing in this trade thesis. I'm thinking this is a key level, right? I made it gold so it could really pop out to you guys and you could really understand that this is very, very important. And I need to be paying attention. I want to take this time to say thank you to our sponsor, Cobra Trading. Cobra Trading is the go-to broker for day traders and short sellers. And I'm not the only one saying this. In fact, Benzinga awarded Cobra Trading as the go-to broker for short selling. They have a heavy focus on direct market access order routing, so you have the fastest execution. They have some of the best locate prices and availability. They also have amazing customer service. I've experienced many different brokers, and it's why I use them every single day and why I'm proud to have them as our sponsor. Sign up now by clicking the Be the Trader referral link below and earn 1 free month of software with Cobra and 25% off all commissions. Now let's get back to the show. And as you can see, this is a daily chart. It actually tested that level several times, and could not break above it. So it is indeed proving that it's a key level of interest and I need to pay attention. And that's why I watch it on this day, which I have circled here. This is the day I traded it, and I actually have the actual trade here as well for you to review in detail, so that way you can see it. You can go ahead and pause if you want. I'm going to bring it up here in a little bit, but first I want to explain in detail what I saw, what I traded, what my stop was, why I traded the way I did, and then show you the trade itself. But this level is important. We've established that. You'll see as I zoom in, I will start to adjust the level itself because the level is indeed holding. But now I want you to see that whenever we are holding this level, we actually held this level a lot more frequently. You see this line right here? This line right here? We actually held this line more times than we held this line. So you see how it's important to zoom in to different levels, because then you can see what's significant. And you can see not only did we hold it here, bounce, and they held it again, but we broke below this level on the day I traded it. So this is something that I need you to understand. Sometimes you'll have the big picture line, but then you want to zoom in the 4 hour, the 30 minute. And in this case, I'm trading the past couple of days, day trading, right? And so I want to look at what is more significant in the most recent days, and does it line up with the big picture? And in this case, it indeed does. So I'm going to move this line down to here. That is indeed the most important level. You'll see that I drew this line right here because we held this area as support significantly, then bounced, came back down, broke below it, held the level of the golden level that we talked about, broke above that, held it again, and then we held it at the pre-market level. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to zoom in. This is the day we're going to be discussing. I'm going to zoom in. We'll zoom in. And on this day, you'll notice that pre-market, we bounced to that level and we could not break it. Now that's something you need to be aware. I don't trade pre-market very often, if any at all, but I do pay attention to what it is telling me. And if it lines up with a bigger picture story, I need to really pay attention to that level. So I immediately want to know, hey, that's an area of interest, of resistance that I could possibly use to play this setup. And during the open, we broke our golden level of support. So when we break that golden level of support, I'm going to zoom in here for a little bit. I got a little excited. I'm thinking this is a very significant level. I think we could really start to fade. I'm thinking we could start to fade even further down. Let me zoom out here for a second. I'm thinking we can even start to fade all the way down to this level of 31, 32, or even this 32.60s, which means you have over $1 to $2 plus of reward, and I wanted to get a piece of that. So my greed stepped into my mind. We just tanked. We had no real bounce, and because of that, I need to know, I have a general rule that if something just tanks at the open, I need to give it significant time for it to really bounce and show me that there is a key area of resistance. I thought for a moment that there was. And when it broke down and started to pop, I thought they were showing weakness, that we were showing lower highs. So I started to attack it. I started to attack it with full size, risking above this level because I'm thinking, hey, we have a downtrend pattern forming, and this is a key level that it broke, and it looks like it's showing lower highs. I think we're going to continue downward. But I was wrong, and I ended up cutting it for a loss. It sucked. I was mad because I knew in my head I really love this level up here, and I thought it could really bounce, and then I could short off of that main level. That's the idea that I initially thought of, but when I saw it just tank at the open, the overall market was tanking at the time, I got excited, and I didn't want to miss the opportunity. And when that happens, when FOMO gets in, when I get emotional, I start to make decisions that are not the best. I'm okay taking this trade. I do see the pattern, but at the same time, you might not want to go full size if you know where the key area that you want to get in the overall plan that you had. Because my overall plan was to get in at this blue line. That was my overall plan, but I did not stick with that. Instead, I got emotional. And it happens to all of us. Out of all the traders I interview on my show every Monday and Wednesday at noon, like clockwork, if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe. I interview successful traders from all over the country, face to face. Check that out. They all take losses and they all make mistakes. They all break rules, but it's how they come back. It's how they continue to move forward. That's what's important. So when this broke back up and it started to squeeze me and I got out for a loss, I'm thinking, okay, when this started to show weakness up here, I was interested and I wanted to attack it. As you can see here, I started to re-attack it with full size because that was the area of interest the entire time before I took the initial FOMO trade. And at the time, I was risking, if we zoom out a little bit, I was risking on the first entry right above this 35.20, right at the penny, 35.20. Just in case it kind of like wicked a little more, I wanted to give myself some room. However, once we start to show this double top right here, and really a triple top, remember, I need to see, is there a pattern developing at my key area of interest? And there was. When I started to see that triple top setting up, I started to attack it even more with my new stop right above that level. So as the trade is developing, I am going to adjust my risk because now at this point, when it starts to fade, if it breaks back above this level, 35, I don't want to be a part of it anymore. And I want to protect myself from starting to revenge trade, starting to take a lot more losses. And again, that's very important. I'm thinking about risk management. How do I protect myself from disaster? So once we start to break down, I start to cover a piece right around this area because this is a key area of interest. You can see here, you can see at this area when we couldn't break above, then we did, and we held it as support and then broke back up to the upside. That's a key area of support, right? So I got to take some profits there. That's just one of my rules. I got to take some profits at that level because there's still an opportunity that it could double bottom down here and then rally all the way back up higher, right? So you just need to keep aware that, hey, I still need a plan for my profits, right? I need to have areas for my targets. So when that started to break, I took some profits. And then when this level started to test again and break, I took more profits. Now, here's something I want you to notice. When this starts to break this level, this trend line right here at 34.30, I get excited because now I have three things for myself. I have the big picture on my side. I have the intraday pattern where it triple topped up here. And now I have the trend line crack on top of that. So I'm feeling good, and I end up holding the rest of my position for the low of the day test and covering it all down there, as you can see here. Now, that is something I want you to notice, that those things start to line up. I start to have more odds stacked in my favor. So if you're very disciplined, which I was not in this case, you wait for things to line up completely before you take the trade. So you could wait until you see the triple top, then take the trade, and then to cover, and then add more on the crack. Or you can wait even further to have even more of the odds in your favor, wait for the big picture lineup, the triple top to happen, and the trend line crack. And now you have a lot of things in your favor where you could take the trade. And really at this point, it was stress-free taking a trade anywhere in the 34.30s to the 50s, risking high day, or even this pivot right here, because you can see it's a head and shoulders, another pattern showing itself. At that point, you have a good risk reward in your favor. So I want you to understand, rewatch this several times, because I wanted to talk through this very quickly, because this is a YouTube video and a lot of people's attention span is not very long. But you'll notice I need multiple things lining up before I take a trade. So please, if you like this type of content, share the show with another friend, and like and subscribe, and God bless.